Today on Man Up, we're going to talk with David Snyder about Blair County adventures.
Man Up is a series that challenges men to become strong, unique, discipled followers of Jesus. Hosts Troy Ferguson, Sean Tice, Victor Thomas, and today's guest host is David Snyder. Welcome to Man Up.
Welcome back to Man Up. Today I want to talk to you about the phrase people say, go big or go home. What does that mean? It means that they want to challenge you to take big risks. Go big, go whatever you're doing, make it big, make it significant, or don't do it at all. Either go big or go home. And I want to challenge you today as we are men and looking at whenever we think about concepts like this, that we need to count the cost. Count the cost of whatever that go big or go home concept might be. Many might even say you look at the calculated risk. I want to tell you a story of years ago when I was a youth pastor. Matter of fact, when I was probably my first or second year as a youth pastor, I saw Krispy Kreme donuts had these boxes of donuts out in front of places, and they had fundraisers. So I contacted them, and I remember when I met with them, they told me, here's what you do. You figure out how much you want to raise and how much you think you can sell. And then we buy enough boxes to sell and so on and so forth. Now, we weren't selling boxes of donuts at Walmart or Sam's Club or anything like that. We were doing door to door as a youth group. So I figured I knew how much money I wanted to raise. I don't remember what the number was at the time, but I knew how much money I wanted to raise. And I put forth that concept, and they said that to do that, you need to sell about 300 or so boxes of donuts. Okay, we'll do it. So we bought 300 or so boxes of donuts, and then one Saturday morning, the youth group came together, and we went door to door, a couple different neighborhoods. And at the end of the morning, which is when everybody would be buying donuts, by the end of the morning, we sold 19. Yes, I had 300 boxes of donuts, and we sold 19 total. So the next day was a Sunday, and we took them to church, and people were gracious, and they gave donations for day-old donuts, and we came out okay in the end. But I was looking at, in my office, 280 boxes of donuts, and I had no idea what I was going to do with them. What's the point of this whole thing? Sometimes the concept of go big or go home is good, but sometimes you might bite off more than you can chew, so to speak, and there's a time that you have to calculate what is reality. You know, we want a certain reward, but reality says this. And I want to challenge you that don't always just think if I go big, I go large, it's going to work out. Many businesses and entities fail within their first year or first 5 years because they've taken on more than they can manage, they can handle. Just like that Krispy Kreme donut fundraiser, I learned my lesson that even though I wanted a certain reward out of it, it was way too much for me to manage and way too much for us to sell. So in general, I want to challenge you to be more of a safe strategizer than a risk taker. Now, I'm all about taking risks. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to completely dissuade you from that. But I do want to encourage you to be a strategizer when you are going after something. And if it's big, if it's a big dream, take the steps necessary to get there. Don't just go big right off the bat. So just a thought, a few challenges for you. And don't be like me and buy 280 boxes of donuts that you don't need. So stick around with us. We'll be right back with our guest today.
Impact Productions, a multi-layer technology company providing on-site, online, and in-studio video services. Contact Impact Productions to capture your story.
Welcome back to Man Up. Today we have an exciting guest with us. You've probably seen him on social media already, but today he's in studio. So we're going to welcome David Snyder with us. David, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into some of the things you're doing.
Well, born and raised in Tyrone, Pennsylvania, northern Blair County. Went to Penn State, Altoona. Very proud of that. I love that school. Been on council in Tyrone for just shy of 9 years. I joined that in 2017. and been working as a media guy, and I owned a cleaning business for a brief period.
Okay.
So I started that up in 2013, picked it back up because in 2016 I started a media business, and then I ended up picking that back up for COVID. As sanitation blew up to 7 counties, and we decided to sell that because that was a monster.
Wow.
So back into the passion of what I like, which is media work. So
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
very brief background.
David, would you tell us about Blair County Adventures?
Blair County Adventures is a passion project that is very much focused on giving free advertisements and boosting on social for anyone who's doing anything in the community, such as nonprofits. We have a lot of traction with restaurants and food reviews. That's really where we've gotten our name, I think, and our niche is that is turning out to be. But the real passion there is to see people doing worthy work in the community, helping people receiving the exposure they would otherwise have to pay for that they may not be able to afford. That's really what it's turned out to be. There's a long history of how that came about, but that's the mission statement of it.
That sounds like the motivation of why you got into social media. Tell us, is there any drawbacks or things that have sort of hindered your progress?
So the very common drawback, which I can say is the case with politics, local politics, unnecessarily so in my opinion, but it's there, is the negativity that a lot of folks tend to have toward what is or is not available, or what is or is not happening, and assuming the worst of whatever's going on. And I think we talked about it briefly, where the common phrase is there is nothing here, or there is nothing worthwhile that's happening, nothing good comes out of Nazareth, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's the same thing over and over again that is born in the heart of man, which is the judge. And we see in the perfect man in Christ that is someone who's willing to lay down judgments. And so the hindrance that I think we face on social, not just me, but everybody, is the onslaught of the judgments of man coming in and assuming the worst of people. And that's where the project was birthed out of, is like, we need to respond to this. I know enough to know that there's a lot going on here,
right,
that there's a lot of good things happening. And I know that because I've been on council for 9 years, and you get approached by everyone, any community leadership. A pastor would have the same experience. It's like, I know there's a lot here because I'm being approached constantly.
Sure.
So this line is a lie. I have to tackle this because it's diminishing the work God is doing in the minds of those who could otherwise be experiencing the most perfect love of the Spirit, because they have a full view of what is going on, versus the lie that, nope, there's nothing good here.
Sure.
That negativity is what I come up against constantly, just constantly.
And we come across that a whole lot, being on Man Up. We find people who get a lot of misinformation on the web, and you having a Christian base would serve to legitimize, because I'm assuming you would use scripture and that type of thing as your foundation on your social media podcast. Would I say podcast?
So I have. It was Blair County Adventures was called Hub of the Highways at one point, and that still exists. That's the name of the podcast, but it's matured into, because we would highlight businesses, and just the content that was reaching the most people was not a podcast type of format, and so we decided to focus more on that, because that's actually accomplishing the mission that we had.
Sure.
We still do the podcast, but in both of these, I mention scripture without the references, and I love doing that, because eventually when conversation starts, I make the references. Hey, just so you know, this is where this came from. But if this sounded like truth to you, there's a reason. If this sounded mature to you, there's a reason. If this had any ounce of encouragement, I can tell you why that encouraged you.
There you go.
This is what Jesus is saying to you now. Here it is. John, whatever, So, but yes, so it's. I've been open about that too. I haven't been shy about it, but I also, to make it more digestible for those who may not have a positive church environment experience, or because I can go back far enough, and I have one of those too, where the Spirit's led me through some healing.
Right.
I now can say that I don't have a problem with anybody. You know, I could not have said that 10 years ago. You know, someone might be in that phase, in that season, and we want to reach them too. The only way to do that is to give them truth in a way that they can digest it, and that's, for right or wrong, that's been the approach.
Yeah. You know, when David and I, we talked just a few weeks ago about the heartbeat behind some of this stuff, and boy, it aligns with my heart, our heart mindset here at Man Up to really pull in people from our community and talk about the different things that are going on, because there's a lot of good stuff. And I agree, there's been a mentality that you got to move out of the area to do anything successful, and that's just not truth.
Right.
It's not real. And so I love what you're doing. Now, I will say this, the Blair County Adventures thing for me, when I first really started watching is with the food reviews.
Yep.
And I love your approach, because it's very simple, it's very honest, and it's opened my eyes to a lot of places that I never heard of.
Yeah.
I'm an Altoona boy, so stuff that you've talked about, kind of some of the surrounding counties, I was like, well, I'll have to check that out, because that sounds really, really good. When you've been doing this kind of stuff, now we're not going to name any names, is there any places you're like, oh, I'm not going back there? Have you had anything like that? How do you pick your places, and then have you had negative experiences with any of them?
So for the sake of time, and we have 3 kids at home, 6 years and under. So imagine the chaos. And they've been in some of the videos too, and that's how we've been able to do it some weeks. We hit everywhere that we would normally go anyway. That's how we got our name out there. It's like, hey, let's do this for folks that we already go to, because why wouldn't we? We're already doing that. We know what we like, and let's get that, and we have some positive reviews. But then the comments started coming in. We rely heavily on comments, because I don't have like an all-knowing power. He's in me, but I don't have his brain. You know, so it's like I don't know. I didn't know about Corey's, which is one place. Or another place, like where I've been lately are places I have never been to, but they've shown up in comments or in direct messages, and I welcome those, because they're letting us know, hey, I've never been on that street before in my life. I'm from here, and I've never been on this street. I had no idea that was there. I'm gonna go give that a shot. Now, the deal I've made with people, and if I'm being, because initially all my reviews were 100% like 5-star. I would only do things if I really liked them. I have been told by everyone not to do that, because, but I'm in those early days only had about 100 people that would comment constantly. Every single one, I'm not kidding. I did a poll, all of them just said, be honest and tell me what is absolutely good or not good. And I wrestled with that for months. When I decided to go over, it was when the revelation hit. It's like, I need to be honest, because it's not loving them if I'm telling them they're doing a great job and they're not. One, because that doesn't give them any incentive to be better, because that needs to happen. There's a kind way to do that. You know, love is kind. The word kindness means to correct gently, you know, in the Greek. So honest reviews have been the best course.
Yeah. I've liked it. So you guys have to check it out. David, we're going to take a break, and if you can stick around, we're going to talk some more about community and how to help out our community. So stick around with us? All right. So hang out with us. We'll be right back on Man Up.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, if you can dream it, we can create it. They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
Welcome back to Man Up. We're going to continue our conversation with David and talk about a few other things with community. But before we do that, David, we've talked about a few of your food reviews, which that's been, you know, very, very popular. But what are some of the other things that you're doing in that realm, reviews and such, that are other community-based things?
So food reviews are obviously what have become the bread and butter content-wise. But the passion is also interviewing people and giving highlights to local businesses and nonprofits and events for nonprofits too. There was a fundraiser in Tyrone, for example, for some victims that lost their property because of a fire. We did a quick interview with one of the organizers of that, and we were able to help them sell tickets, to the point that they sold out. And so, just using the power of the platform to go to an insurance agency that got over 10,000 views, to a hair salon that got more than that, to go to a garage, just to showcase for that segment that watch us locally, like, where do we go to buy furniture? Where do we go to get our car fixed? Where do we go to do all these different things? We don't know what GNR and Tyrone does. So we're going to go to Blair County Adventures to see this video. We don't know what this business in Altoona does. So that's another thing that we do also.
Cool.
What all platforms do you use? I mean, do you change the content for different platforms? Or?
So right now we don't change the content because we have 3 kids at home. And we don't have time. We should, though. There are certain formats that work best in other platforms. Right now, Facebook is the primary one. We have YouTube not registered, but set aside. We're going to start uploading over content on that here now that kids are in school. We have more time. YouTube, but Facebook and Instagram are going to be the big ones. Okay. Right now, Facebook is where everything is.
So a conversation, this is really for all of us, that not just David, I don't want to put all the pressure on him, but
appreciate that.
What are some ways that we can do things to bring awareness, to support businesses, organizations throughout our community? One of the things you hear is live here, buy here, meaning buy local. So talk a little bit about that. What are some of the things that you've seen or experienced or even have intentionally done to help develop and build up our community?
I want to push it back on David because we were having that conversation.
I tried.
Okay.
And
it's okay.
He had mentioned like people coming, maybe you're coming from New York and you're here in Altoona. So that concept of, live here, buy here, how do you feel that's helping those who may be visiting here in this area?
Yeah.
So if I understand the question, like I love live here, buy here, but I like it because I'm on council in Tyrone, and I like it because I'm involved locally. Not everybody who lives here really cares because they don't. Again, it goes back to they don't know what's here, they don't know what's available to them, and they just haven't been exposed to all the things that they can be exposed to in a positive way. What I like about the platform and what we've been able to do is we're getting messages, like we've gotten messages like, hey, I'm a trucker from New York. We've seen these reviews. We've seen these businesses that are in Blair County. We're traveling through the 99 corridor. Where can we park our rig? Because we want to go try this. Because we've seen it here. And this is how people get their travel plans done, is through social now, predominantly.
Right.
And so I think when you start to see that traction on a social media platform, and there are other avenues we should explore, but on social media, when you begin to have local people, oh man, the amazement that one of the local people in Tyrone got 125,000 views on a video, that surprised me. But 125,000 views, and people from New York are commenting, hey, we're going to be there next week. Let me know what you have menu-wise. That garners interest locally because now you're like, oh wait, someone outside of our world is seeing value in this. You mean to tell me that, oh, I'm going to go try this out too to see what all the hype is. And then live here, buy here makes sense.
Sure.
But to hand it to somebody that has no reason to believe that what you're saying is true, they need outside examples. Very similar thing in faith. We needed God incarnate to know what love was. And it's the very same thing. We need something outside of our normal life, our own normal world, to prove to us that what we have here is actually not that bad. Like we've never been separate from God. What? It's like that was a revelation. That's what the gospel was.
Yeah.
But without the incarnation, we wouldn't have known that, which is the whole point.
And living here, sometimes we overlook some of the things we have. The world famous horseshoe curve. Sure. There are still people who come here to see that.
And they have that live streamed.
Yeah.
So it's available, but you just don't know to look for it. You don't know where to find the things that you can take kids for free.
Yeah.
And have fun.
Yeah. That's so true that sometimes when you live in a certain area, you don't grasp some of the benefit and the history. Right. I lived in Richmond, Virginia for several years. And when people found out I was from Altoona, it was interesting them talking to me and asking me questions about Altoona because they knew the history.
Yeah.
Right.
They knew better than I did. And I
Yeah.
lived here. They're talking about the horseshoe curve
Sure.
and this and that. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know what to tell you. Which is interesting. When you grow up here, sometimes you take it for granted.
I love how you're highlighting our town, because I was gone for about 20 years. And I graduated high school in 2003, went to college in Florida, and I was gone for about almost 20 years combined. And we moved back for about a year and a half, and then we were gone again. But we lived in Las Vegas, Florida, all these places that people think, oh, really exciting places. And I'll tell you what, I would much rather live here. I love this town. I mean, you come back here, there's a minor league baseball team, there's parks. I mean, Lakemont Park, I'm not sure what's going on with that, but there's I say Bland's Park, Del Grosso's. There's so many things to do here. The mountains, just looking out at the mountains. When you live in Florida and there's nothing, I mean, and there's a beach there, but I'm not a beach guy. I like the mountains.
There
So,
you go.
I mean, I love this town. I think it's
all
awesome.
four
you're highlighting
seasons.
this.
Love my seasons.
After college, I moved to Minneapolis. I lived there for 3 years, and I moved to DC and lived there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I moved back home because I knew it was something special here. Like I've lived in the cities. I've lived in Fairfax and in DC proper, and Anacostia, DC is where I lived for about a year and a half of that. Fairfax for the other year and a half. Like I prefer the life that we have here.
Yeah.
And I came back just soaking it up and loving all of it. And that's why I joined council, because I want to help this. This is amazing, And the same exact experience.
And those were some of the struggles for some of the local retailers. But Altoona has grown in population. It's the numbers are actually up, and the people who are coming here, and it's surprising because our main industry used to be the railroad.
Sure.
And people are still flocking here for that very reason. Good educational system.
Right.
It's different. I love all 4 seasons that we get. I couldn't live in Florida. I would miss the winter too much.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fall is my favorite time of year. We're entering into my favorite time of the year right
yeah.
now. So this is, I look forward to it all year round.
Football season. But
Well, there's that.
Yes.
There's that for sure.
yeah.
With you guys, especially those of you that travel, the struggles of local retailers now. Since we're highlighting the community, there's so much available online.
Yes.
And I'm an online buyer myself, I'll just admit. But how do we help local retailers and businesses compete against?
This is a very common question, because I'm also heavily involved in the Tyrone Chamber of Commerce. And so a number of businesses have joined and have asked, it's like, hey, you're the social guy. What should we do? Because our physical location and the advice that I would give them, which this is relevant for people in a small town, I suppose. Altoona has way more people, way more traffic. So I think it depends on the market and what they're trying to tackle. But by and large, my response has been, it's like, well, in my opinion, and I don't consider myself an authority on this, but my opinion, have the brick and mortar store, use that as your epicenter where you're moving in product out of, but do not neglect online sales. Amazon, for example, you can have your product on Amazon. Use these tools, and then have people come in for local pickup.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'll support True Value and places like that. I'd love to go plug for Fiore. But instead of going to like Walmart or Target or one of those places, or even Lowe's to get those types of things, to support the local business and help them out, try to give them a leg up. But the convenience of going to the Targets or the Walmarts and those places where you can get multiple things is putting a stress on the local businesses.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the mall. I don't know if you guys have been to the mall lately, but
Very sad.
And it's not just our mall.
No,
a lot of malls.
lot of
like
malls.
that.
It's painful to look at.
But retail is really suffering in many ways. And really, if you want something today, that's where you're going to get it. But if you're willing to wait 2 days, people are just going online. And I think I understand it as a tech guy, as a media guy myself. I understand it. I utilize it. But I also know there's value in shopping local and buying local. And we need to do what we can to help support that. And if you can find it at a big box store and a local store, go to the local store, because it's going to help the local economy a lot more. So that's how we have to look at that. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to actually watch one of David's videos of his reviews, and if we have time, we'll chat about it afterwards. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Made by Vogel is a father and son business that produces high-quality handmade wooden products such as cutting boards, bowls, bottle stoppers, and more. Products for sale can be found on their Etsy site or in downtown Altoona at the Clay Cup. You can't go wrong buying from Made by Vogel.
Today I went to Tom and Joe's in downtown Altoona. I had the mess: sausage, bacon, eggs, cheese, potatoes, the entire gambit. They are well known for this. I went in, the customers told me that's what I should get. The wait staff said that's what they're known for. What I feel like is unique with this particular mess is the amount of protein they put in it. So the sausage, the bacon, I think especially the bacon, after every single bite there was a saltiness to it, which meant I didn't have to season it. I didn't add anything to it because it's just that good. So I'm giving it a 4.5. It's literally one of the best messes I've ever had. And the price isn't bad too. I'll toss the menu up here for you to see. So that's it, Tom and Joe's, the mess, 4.5. That, my friends, is the review. Come down to Tom and Joe's, get the mess. Tell me what you would rate it.
So just with a minute we have left here, let me just say that is one of your highest reviews because he's honest and in the reviews, 4.5 is a pretty major thing. So as we have 1 minute left here, what are your thoughts, Tom and Joe's? Let's give them a shout out. Any thoughts you guys have in your experience?
Oh yeah, Georgie and his staff, they do a great job.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, always to make you feel welcome when you go in, and the food is, like you said, I like the mess also.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's a fun environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
My great grandma worked there for like 40 years or something, so I'm a fan just because of family, I guess.
And Tom and Joe's is one of these places, if you want a quiet breakfast, don't go to Tom and Joe's.
Don't go there. It's packed constantly.
It's packed and
for
it's
a reason.
loud.
For a reason.
Absolutely. It's a great place to go. And David, we appreciate all that you're doing for our community. And we'll continue to watch your reviews and try some restaurants and places that you're talking about.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. And hang out with us once again next week for Man Up.
Mouth-watering family recipes, easy-to-make meals, humor and faith fill the inspiring show Dano on the Counter. Born with only half a spine, Dan Burkhart was never supposed to hold his head up. Despite countless surgeries, a stroke, leg amputations, and kidney transplants, Dano developed a contagious love for life. Join Dano on the Counter as he shares his easy-to-make dishes and a hope that keeps him pushing forward. Dano on the Counter, Sundays at 7:30 a.m. on CBS.
Next time on Man Up, we'll have Dwight Nouse, and we'll have a conversation about Way Truth Life Radio.
The Lord called me to Way Truth Life Radio. Central Pennsylvania Christian Institute is our organization that operates Way Truth Life Radio, and I've been there doing that for almost 10 years. Yeah, I guess I was on the board of Central Pennsylvania Christian Institute for 25 years before I was called.
All that and more next time on Man Up.